Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Only Bio. Presenting up the series of the challenging MCQs in Group A from 61 to 65, all with the detailed explanation. The first question relates up with the chapter locomotion. It's ideally an additional question. The question is, carnivorous mammals like cats, lions and panther move swiftly. This kind of locomotion is called as dash, and the options are A. Unguligrade locomotion, B. Plantigrade locomotion, C. Digitigrade locomotion, and D. None of these. And the correct answer for this question is C. Digitigrade locomotion. Friends, remember there are three forms of terrestrial locomotion seen in the mammals. First one, that is unguligrade, that is hoof walking, a whole foot walking. Second, that is plantigrade, which is also called as sole walking. And third, that is digitigrade, that's finger or toe walking. Let us understand about this. Now, unguligrade, the word unguligrade mainly comes from the Latin word ungulus, which means the hoof or hooves. So all those animals that walk on their hooves, a whole foot, are said to be having unguligrade kind of locomotion. Some ungulates have one hoof, example horses and zebra, while others have hooves that are cloven into two, example deer, cows, pigs, goat and sheep. Now, plantigrade kind of locomotion, which is also called as sole walking, it is seen in the animals which walk by planting the full soles of their feet on the ground. So they walk with their metatarsals. For example, you can say squirrel or even human being for that matter. Now, the third one, that is digitigrade, that is finger or toe walking. Here the animals walk with all or most of the length of their toes, here digits, whatever you say, but not the full soles of their feet. Example, dogs and cats, lions and panther. Now, human beings are typically plantigrade, but human beings can also walk digitigrade if they want to. That is something which we call it as the tiptoe walking. I now take you to the next question. The next question relates with the chapter structure of cell, and the question is, which of the following is a wrong statement? And the options given are A. All living plant cells contain chlorophyll. B. All cells do not contain a true nucleus. C. All living cells show the phenomena of metabolism. And D. Viruses are between living and non-living. And the correct answer for this question is A. All living plant cells contain chlorophyll is the wrong statement. Now you know all those parts of the plant body which are below the soil, which aren't exposed to the sunlight, right? They wouldn't perform photosynthesis. So that is the reason why they don't require chlorophyll. Now, for instance, take an example of onions. Right? Onions do not have chloroplasts. They are underground. They do not perform photosynthesis. So there's no point in having chloroplasts in all those cells which aren't exposed to the light. I take you to the next question. The next question relates with the chapter Human Health and Diseases, and the question is, an interferon is dash, and the options are A. Low molecular weight protein that inhibits the virus multiplication. B. RNA used for DNA synthesis. C. Protein used for oxygen transport. And D. Protein that inhibits DNA. And the correct answer for this question is A. That is low molecular weight protein that inhibits virus multiplication. Please look on the screen here for you to understand. This is a virus and this is an animal cell which is being infected by the virus. The virus injects its genetic material, and the presence of the virus activates the INF gene, that is interferon forming gene, which on activation produces interferons. Now, when the virus goes on multiplying inside the host cell, the host cell ultimately ruptures. When it ruptures, not only the new viruses come out of the cell, but also the interferons are released out of the animal cell. Now, these viruses are free to infect the nearby, that is the adjacent cells. Simultaneously, these interferons are going to be binding to specific receptors present on the adjacent cells. When these interferons bind with the specific receptors on the adjacent cells, that gives a signal to the nucleus, which thereby starts producing antiviral proteins which have the capacity to destroy the viruses. Look at another picture. Here it is. So this is an animal cell. These small things you can see inside are the representation of a virus. A virus actually doesn't look really like this. These are the interferons which are released up on the virus attack. Okay. Then what happens is these receptors have bounded up, have been received by certain receptors here, which is a neighboring cell which has not been infected by the virus. आपको कहीं पर भी यहाँ पर आजू बाजू में वायरस दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, इसका मतलब it's an uninfected cell, but still the interferons have really been received, have bounded with the receptors in providing a kind of an immune response. Okay. The second thing here, you can see this is an adjacent cell, but the difference is it's been infected by the virus, and so the interferon is going to signal this infected cell so that it can undergo apoptosis, that is nothing but the death of the cell. And in the third case, it activates the immune cells. Now let us understand about this a bit more. Friends, remember, interferons are a group of signaling proteins which belong to the class of proteins called as cytokines. Cytokines you might have heard, right? These are the molecules used for communication, you may say, to trigger the immune system, right? And that helps in eradicating the pathogens. These are produced, the interferons are produced and released by the host cells as a response to the viral infection. In simple words, a virus-infected cell releases interferons that triggers the nearby cells to heighten or increase or enhance their antiviral defenses. Now, why they are called as interferons? There's a reason behind it, because they interfere with the viral replication. Now, interferons activate the immune cells, like the natural killer cells and the macrophages, जो अभी आपने देखा screen पर, right? Now, interferons, they signal the neighboring uninfected cells to destroy the RNA and reduce down the protein synthesis. They may also signal the neighboring infected cells so that they undergo apoptosis, that we have just talked about. Now, friends, remember, जब भी हमें कोई viral infection हो जाता है, तो at times we have fever, या muscle pain, या flu जैसे जो symptoms होते हैं, and many a times these symptoms are produced because of the interferons. And you may be surprised that there are more than 20 distinct interferon producing genes and proteins that have been identified, including in human beings, including all the entire animalia. And these are typically divided into three classes, that is type 1, type 2 and type 3 interferons. I now take you to the next question. The next question is an additional question. The question is, the incorrect match for pathology is dash, and the options given are A. Tikka disease of groundnut, that is Cercospora. B. White rust of crucifers, that is Albugo candida. C. Black wart of potato, that is Syncytium endobioticum. D. None of these. And the correct answer for this question is none of these. Please look on the screen. See, Tikka disease is also at times called as the leaf spot disease. It is a very common disease in the groundnuts, and it is caused by Cercospora. The species might be Personata, Arachidicola, and the disease condition in this particular case I'm just taking out the pointer here. Yeah, here it is. Here you can see that there are circular spots, many circular spots you can see, right? So there are many circular spots that are seen on the leaves, surface of the leaves. ये जो फंगस होता है, the causative agent that might be present in the soil, yeah, it might be even in the fruit shell, that is the nuts we call it as, and from there they keep on infecting up the plant. Now Cercospora personata causes infections in the plants which mainly belong to the family Leguminosae. So they commonly attack the groundnuts and the other legumes as well. Now coming to the next, that is, look on the screen. You can see here the picture of a cabbage, right? So this is, what is it? This is suffering from a white rust disease. It is caused by a fungus, Oomycete albugocandida. Yeah, some related species of the same. Now the plants that are susceptible to this disease include the members of the Brassica family. This is the broccoli, cauliflower, Indian mustard, cabbage, and so on. So this is the white rust disease, jahan par we find there is a symptom called as chlorosis on the surface of the leaf. That is white blister-like growths on the underside of the leaves, on the surface of the leaves, on the stems of the plant, and swellings of the roots. And this can be a very serious infection ideally. Okay, very serious infection. Now, the next here you can see a picture of potato that's been infected by a disease. And this disease is called as the potato wart disease. Again, a serious disease caused by soil-borne fungus, that is Synctrium endobioticum. It is an obligate parasite, so it does not produce mycelium as such, but an abundance of the sporangia are responsible for the tumor formation, okay, on underground potatoes. Now these sporangia will produce zoospores, and this will be again infecting up the other potatoes, and these spores can survive for many years, say as long as 30 years, or they may survive even in the form of a cyst. So this infection can really be a very bad infection economically. I now take you to the next question. The next question is an additional question but can also be related with the chapter hormonal coordination, and the question is, Uropygial glands are the only glands in the birds. They are located on the, and the options are A. Dorsal side of the uropygium, B. Ventral side of the uropygium, C. Lateral side of the uropygium, and D. None of these. And the correct answer for this question is dorsal side of the uropygium. Now I will show you one pic to understand it. Here it is. Oh, just a moment. Okay, till then you can remember. See, mammals, unlike mammals, birds don't have sweat glands, but they have one major skin gland, and that's called as the uropygial gland, present in almost all the birds. Now, the uropygial gland is also called as the preen gland, and it is located on the dorsal surface at the base of the tail. You can look on the screen here. You can see a bird, and this is the tail, and this is the dorsal surface. This part is being enlarged here for you to understand. See, this is an oil gland, which is a bilobed sebaceous gland. You can clearly see this in this picture. It's a bilobed sebaceous gland. And this is possessed, as I said, by the majority of the birds. It may vary in shape and size. Okay, and generally, iska jo opening hota hai, uske aaju baaju mein we find there are feathers. Okay, now also remember it is a holocrine gland, and birds use their beaks to spread the oil throughout the feathers. Okay, matlab it's an oil producing gland. So this will naturally help in cleaning up the feathers as well as waterproofing them. Now this gland is not found in parrots, ostriches, and few other species. And few scientists believe that this particular oil that is released by the uropygial gland also might be helping in reattaching up the feathers to keep them in good flying conditions. So please like, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell icon if you haven't, and share it with maximum friends. Thank you so much.